Do I have to answer this? I find I get addicted to the digital distortion. Oh God, that's my response. Where did you get these questions?
Hi, it's Joe Chiccarelli. I'm here with Waves, rating these really stupid mix tip questions.
Okay, Joe, rate these mix tricks. 10 for great, 0 for garbage. First one, high pass everything.
Rubbish. The idea of high passing everything and cutting 200 out of everything. I don't know where this concept came from. I never learned that when I started. Of course, I do it for certain things to get rid of some of the troublesome low tones, but no, it's like a 3 for me, No way.
Always mix with reference tracks.
Do I have to answer this? I hate reference tracks. Let me qualify this. If it's me just mixing on my own, 1 or a 0. Never will I do that. Never, ever. Because I want to make the record that sounds right for that artist. I want it to sound different and unique and special to that artist. If I were mixing a pop artist whose intention was to sound like other pop artists, and I had to feel competitive in my mix, then yes, I understand the need for it. At that point, you're not mixing it for the artist, you're mixing for the audience, perhaps. But myself, 0. On a philosophical level, the thing I think happens when you have references, for instance, I hate it when an artist comes in to me and says, hey, what would you think about a part like this? Or what would you think about a guitar sound like this? I find what happens is you only go for that and you don't leave yourself open to possibilities.
Mixing in mono.
That's a 10 for me. I absolutely love mixing in mono. I learned so much about frequencies clashing, instruments eating up spaces. I love it. If it weren't so boring, I would do it all the time. Sometimes you get in a mode where you're mixing in mono, and the minute you go back to stereo, you feel like, oh, okay, this is what I'm here for. Okay, I get it. But it's so helpful to me.
Quantizing live drums.
That could be a 10, that could be a 0. It depends on the music. If you're doing something electronic or something pop and it's got to sit with a program beat, then yeah, you got to quantize it to some degree. I tend to comp drums and, we'll copy and paste sections, but I want the drummer's feel. I want the spots where he pulls the backbeat behind the beat or when he's a little on top in the chorus, and I want the personality. So there's obviously a degree in this, and once again, it truly depends on the style of music, but it's definitely not something that is an immediate part of the process. Let's put it that way.
Mixing at low monitor levels.
That's another 10 for me, definitely so. Again, you just hear nuance, balance, subtleties in tones. I love it. I mean, look, everybody loves to monitor loud. It's so much fun, but there's no question about it. If it translates to a low volume, that's the thing that's going to make the difference between a great mix and a good mix. Low volume can teach you a lot.
Checking your mix in the car.
That is a 0 for me. I never check mixes in the car because I will get so neurotic. Number one, every car sounds different. I get crazy when people say, I got to go out to the car and listen. I'm like, oh God, we're going to be here another day mixing because, I'm going to find something in my car. He's going to find something in his car, and it drives you down a rabbit hole.
Tuning drum toms to the key of the song.
Where did you get these questions? Your brain?
Yep.
Oh, it's a scary brain.
I scare myself sometimes.
That could be like a 2 or 3. I know people that do it. I never think of tuning the drums in the key of the song. Never think of that. The only time I would really worry about that is if I heard a tom fill and the tom rubbed with the bass, or something like that, then I would adjust it. But otherwise, no, absolutely not.
Writing volume automation on lead vocals.
Oh my God, 10. Always ride the lead vocal level. I mean, there's so much emotion that comes from the subtleties in a vocal performance. 15 years ago, I mixed an album for Ricky Lee Jones. She had me writing T's, S's, and P's and nuances on words that were beyond what I'd ever done. But she was right. The story came alive, the emotional impact became more apparent. It really counts. That's a 10 or 11 for me.
Mixing through your stereo bus as early as possible.
I think it depends on a couple of things. Since the mixing process now for me is one of building and refinements, sometimes I'll do a rough mix of something midway through the project and I'll have some gear on the stereo bus and all of a sudden that rough mix just comes to life and feels really great and feels like, whoa, that's the song. That's what it should be. Because I'm still in the analog domain, luckily my gear is all mastering grade gear that has detented pots. Basically, I have to go and take a picture of whatever analog gear I use on the stereo bus. And then if I like that sound in the rough mix, I have to copy those settings over. In that case, I'll start with the bus gear in. But I like to not rely too much on the stereo bus gear. So I'll mix without it as long as I can. When it starts to feel like I can't get any further, then I'll pop it in. So that might be like a 5 or a 6 or something for me.
If it sounds good on AirPods, it's done.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I find that most pods are so hyped on the top end that I start hearing things that don't exist, whether it's mouth noises or guitar noises or cymbals that never were a problem anywhere, all of a sudden seem shriekingly loud. So I don't tend to rely on them. So that's probably like a 1 or 2.
Using only one reverb for the entire mix.
Using one reverb on a mix truly depends on the music. I think if I were doing something simple, folk-like, jazz-like, yeah, why not? I tend to definitely have 2 or 3. And sometimes one instrument, maybe even a vocal, could have a chamber and a plate at the same time. You know, I think that philosophy maybe came from days when people used steel plate reverbs, because the way things all collided together in a plate reverb kind of gave you a sound, and it also gave you the glue to the mix. And without that, mix kind of falls apart. Having one reverb, I think, you know, in those days could have been maybe a benefit, but I don't adhere to that philosophy at all. 3 or 4 rating.
Starting every drum mix with the kick and snare.
Oh, God. That's my response. Sorry. The only reason why I would start my mix by just soloing the kick drum would be because I love the song so much that I wanted to take 2 weeks mixing it. That would be the only reason. Solo doesn't relate to anything else in the record. And it's a painting, it's a puzzle. It all has to come together, and it doesn't matter what one piece or one section looks like, it's the whole. So I don't know how to do it by just soloing one instrument at a time. I truly would take forever mixing a song that way. That's a 0, yeah.
Loading all or most of your go-to plugins before starting a mix.
The only thing I would load in my session before mixing might be some parallel chains that I rely on. I never load plugins on individual tracks No, that's kind of like a 1 for me, a 2 for me. You know, I might load some reverbs. I'm thinking about the music. So if I were doing some speed metal track, I wouldn't load in some long haul reverb because there's no room for it, you know? Every song is different, every track is different, so I never put plugins in without listening to the music and finding out what's needed.
How about sidechain compression?
Occasionally, I'll do sidechain stuff on synth pad, things for more of an effect, but to get a bass and a kick drum to work well together, not necessarily. It's an effect. It's an effect. So it's 3 or 4 for me, but it's nothing that I rely on. It's part of my methodology. No.
Keeping an eye on gain staging throughout your mix.
That's a tricky one. That's like an 8 or 9. However, I am guilty of breaking the rules many, many times. Sometimes I find I get addicted to the digital distortion. There's something about that crunch and flattening that it does that translates to power and energy, and it's impressive. So I find that when I back things off and clean things up and are a little bit more proper in my way of working, that I lose some of the impact of things. So I don't really pay too much attention to it until it's a problem. So that could be like a 6 or 7 or something. Thanks so much for tuning in, checking this out. Hope these answers made some sense to you. Please leave your comments down below.